I never thought borrowing a few clothes could lead to something so drastic. It started as an innocent curiosity, something I never intended anyone to find out. But life has a funny way of twisting things when you least expect it. My name is Ryan, a 19-year-old college student who still lived at home with my older sister, Sophie. She was 2 years older than me, confident, independent, and always in control. Our parents were constantly traveling for work, leaving us alone in the house for weeks at a time. Sophie took care of everything, and in many ways, she acted more like a parent than a sister. One evening, boredom got the best of me. Sophie had gone out with her friends, and I was left alone at home. I wandered into her room, drawn by the perfectly organized closet filled with stylish clothes, elegant dresses, and countless pairs of heels neatly lined up. It wasn't the first time I'd been tempted to try something on. I had always been fascinated by how effortlessly she put together her outfits. I told myself it was just for fun, just to see how it felt. I picked out a silky black dress, something simple but elegant. It felt soft under my fingertips, and before I could second-guess myself, I slipped it on. The sensation was strange but thrilling. The way the fabric hugged my skin, the way it draped over my body, it was unlike anything I had ever felt before. I turned to the mirror, my heart racing. That's when I made the mistake. I didn't hear Sophie come home. I was too lost in the moment, admiring the way I looked in her dress, until her sharp gasp sent a chill down my spine. I spun around, my face burning with embarrassment. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, a slow, amused smile spreading across her face. Well, she said, stepping inside and shutting the door behind her. I never thought I'd come home to find my little brother playing dress-up in my clothes. I stammered, trying to explain, to make an excuse, but she wasn't buying it. "Oh no, Ryan," she purred, tapping her chin thoughtfully. "You wanted to wear my clothes. Fine, but I think you need the full experience." I didn't like the way she was looking at me, like she had just found the perfect opportunity to get some fun at my expense. "Sophie, please. This was just a mistake," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. She smirked. "Oh, little brother," she said. "You're not getting off that easily. If you're going to wear my dress, you're going to do it properly." And just like that, my life took a turn I never expected. I swallowed hard, my mind racing with excuses, but nothing seemed convincing enough. Sophie wasn't angry, if anything. She seemed amused, but that only made me more nervous. "Sophie, come on," I pleaded, trying to remove the dress. She raised an eyebrow and shook her head. "Oh no. You wanted to play dress-up, right? So let's do it properly." Before I could protest, she grabbed my wrist and pulled me toward her vanity. I stumbled, barely catching myself as she pushed me into the chair. The reflection in the mirror showed my panicked expression, my face flushed, my hair slightly messy from the shock of being caught. Sophie stood behind me, arms crossed, tapping her foot thoughtfully. Then she grinned, a mischievous glint in her eyes. "You know, Ryan, you could pass as a girl if you tried." I shook my head frantically. "No way. This was a mistake. I wasn't trying to." She placed a perfectly manicured finger on my lips, silencing me. "Sheh. You wanted to wear my dress, but you're not even trying. If you're going to do it, you have to do it right. And that means makeup, hair, accessories, the whole package." My stomach twisted. I wanted to run, to escape, but Sophie was relentless. She rummaged through her makeup kit, pulling out brushes, powders, and lipsticks. "Let's start with your face," she said cheerfully. I tried to protest, but she ignored me, tilting my chin up. First, she applied a layer of foundation, evening out my skin tone. Then came the blush, soft pink, brushed lightly across my cheeks. I flinched as she lined my eyes with eyeliner, but she was surprisingly gentle. The mascara came next, making my lashes look longer and fuller. I barely recognized myself. She stepped back, admiring her work. "Not bad, but we're not done yet." I sighed. "Sophie, please." She held up a blonde wig and smirked. "Put this on." I hesitated. Or, she said, twirling a lock of her own hair between her fingers, I can show our friends the picture I just took. My blood ran cold. You what? I stammered. She held up her phone, grinning. Oops, I might have snapped a picture when you weren't looking. Now, put on the wig. My hands trembled as I took the wig from her. It was long, silky, and smelled faintly of her shampoo. I pulled it over my head, adjusting it as best as I could. Sophie clapped her hands. Perfect. You're such a pretty little thing. I swallowed hard, avoiding my reflection. This is too much. I can't. She ignored me again and went to her closet, pulling out a black lacy dress. It was even shorter than the one I was already wearing. Take that one off, she ordered. I hesitated. Wait, you're not serious. Her smirk widened. Dead serious. I glanced at the door, considering my chances of escape, but Sophie blocked my way. Ryan, she said sweetly, you're going to do exactly as I say, or I'll make sure everyone sees that picture. I had no choice. With shaky hands, I pulled off the dress I was wearing and replaced it with the one Sophie gave me. It was tight, hugging my body in ways I never imagined. The lace brushed against my skin, sending an unfamiliar shiver down my spine. Sophie took a step back, nodding in approval. Now that's a proper transformation. I barely recognized myself in the mirror. She placed a hand on my shoulder. But you're missing one final touch. I turned to her, confused. What do you mean? She grinned wickedly. The perfect maid always wears heels. She reached down and picked up a pair of black stilettos, handing them to me. My stomach dropped. Sophie, no. Put them on, she ordered. I sighed in defeat, slipping my feet into the towering heels. Standing up, I wobbled, barely keeping my balance. Sophie giggled. You'll get used to it, she said. Now, let's see if you can walk. I took a hesitant step, nearly toppling over. Sophie clapped her hands. Oh, this is going to be fun. She turned to me, her smirk deepening. Now, little maid, it's time for your first task. I swallowed hard as Sophie's smirk widened. Task? I echoed nervously. Sophie crossed her arms, tapping her foot against the floor. That's right. Since you're all dressed up so nicely, it's only fair you put that outfit to use. She walked over to her vanity and picked up a fluffy pink feather duster. Here, she said, tossing it at me. You're going to be my personal maid for the day. I stared at the duster in disbelief. Sophie, come on. You've had your fun. Can we just... She held up her phone again, wiggling it between her fingers. The picture says otherwise. My stomach tightened. She wasn't letting me out of this. With a sigh, I grabbed the duster and mumbled, fine. What do you want me to do? She grinned. Start by cleaning my room, and make sure to do it properly, maid. Heat rose to my face as I awkwardly began dusting her shelves. The heels made every movement feel unstable, and the short lace dress barely covered my thighs whenever I bent over. Sophie giggled behind me, clearly enjoying the show. You missed a spot, she teased, pointing to the bottom shelf. I crouched down carefully, trying to keep my balance. As I dusted, Sophie suddenly gasped. Oh my God, Ryan, you're such a natural at this. I shot her a glare, but the effect was ruined when I stumbled slightly in the heels. She burst into laughter. Okay, let's make this even more fun, she said. She pulled open her closet and rummaged through it before pulling out something horrifying, an actual maid outfit. No way. Sophie, absolutely not, I said firmly, shaking my head. Her smirk only deepened. Oh, come on, you've already come this far. She held up her phone again. And don't forget, I own you now. I clenched my jaw. I was trapped. Fine, I muttered. Sophie practically squealed with excitement as she tossed the outfit at me. Bathroom. Get changed. Now. I grabbed the outfit and trudged into the bathroom, shutting the door behind me. My reflection in the mirror was almost unrecognizable. The wig, the makeup, the dress, the heels. And now this. I sighed and began changing. The maid outfit was even worse than I'd imagined, short, frilly, and adorned with lace and ribbons. The apron cinched at the waist, making my frame look more feminine. The thigh-high stockings added another level of humiliation. When I stepped out, Sophie's eyes lit up. "Oh, my God." I crossed my arms. "Are we done now?" Sophie shook her head, still grinning. "Not even close." Before I could protest, there was a knock at the door. My heart stopped. Sophie gasped dramatically. "Oh, I forgot I invited Emily over." My blood ran cold. Emily, Sophie's best friend. If she saw me like this, I'd never live it down. "Sophie, please don't let her in," I begged. Sophie tapped her chin playfully. I don't know, Ryan. Maybe I should let her see my new maid." "No, Sophie, I'm serious." Too late. She was already heading for the door. I panicked, looking for a place to hide, but my heels made running impossible. Sophie flung open the door, and there stood Emily, completely unaware of the nightmare she was about to walk into. Emily blinked. "Hey, Soph," she paused, her eyes landing on me. Time froze. Her mouth slowly fell open. What the hell? My face burned hotter than the sun. I wanted to disappear. Sophie, however, loved it. She burst into laughter. "Oh, don't mind my maid, Emily. She's just learning the ropes." Emily's wide-eyed stare flicked between us. "Wait, is that Ryan?" I wanted to deny it, to run, but I knew there was no escape. Emily's shock slowly melted into something worse, a grin. "Oh, my God." She stepped inside, closing the door behind her. "Sophie, what is this?" Sophie giggled. Ryan got a little too comfortable trying on my clothes, so I decided to help him embrace it fully. Emily howled with laughter. "Holy shit, this is amazing." I buried my face in my hands. This was it. My life was over. Emily nudged Sophie. "So, what's next for our little maid?" I lifted my head in horror. "Dovey, wait. Our..." Sophie's smirk grew darker. "Oh, Ryan," she purred. "You didn't think I'd keep all this fun to myself, did you?" A shiver ran down my spine. I was trapped. And now, there were two of them. I took a step back, my legs trembling in the ridiculous heels Sophie had forced me to wear. My heart pounded as Emily and Sophie exchanged mischievous glances. "Sophie, come on," I pleaded. "This joke has gone far enough." Emily smirked, folding her arms. "Oh no, Ryan. This is just getting started." Sophie twirled a strand of her hair, tilting her head with mock innocence. "You look so cute, little maid. It'd be a shame if we didn't make the most of this." My hands clenched into fists. I needed to get out of here now. "I'm done," I said firmly, reaching for the zipper at the back of the maid dress. Sophie's eyes darkened. "Oh, are you? Because I remember saying I own you now." Emily gasped theatrically, putting a hand over her mouth. "Sophie, are you blackmailing your own brother? That's so evil." Sophie grinned. "Isn't it fun?" Emily giggled and turned to me. "You might as well accept it, Ryan. I mean, look at you." She gestured to the full-length mirror. "You don't even look like a boy anymore. You're basically one of us." I swallowed hard and turned to my reflection. My breath caught in my throat. She was right. The wig, the makeup, the perfectly fitted maid uniform, it was all too convincing. My usual self was gone. In its place stood a girl who looked ready to curtsy and serve afternoon tea. A shiver ran down my spine. I had to end this. I turned back to Sophie. "Fine, you've had your fun. I'll do whatever you want for the rest of the day, but after that, this stops. No pictures, no blackmail. We forget this ever happened." Sophie and Emily exchanged glances. Then Sophie sighed dramatically. "Well, I guess that's fair." Relief flooded through me. But then Sophie smirked again. "Buet, if you're really going to be a maid for the day, you need a proper introduction." Before I could react, Emily grabbed my wrist and spun me around to face her. She smiled sweetly. Say it, she cooed. Say, hello, Mistress Emily. How may I serve you today? My jaw clenched. No way. Emily pouted. Aw, that's too bad. She lifted her phone, her thumb hovering over the screen. I was just about to post this to my story. My stomach dropped. Sophie, I snapped, turning to my sister. She shrugged innocently. She's my best friend, Ryan. Of course, I'm going to share the fun with her. Emily giggled. Now, let's try that again, Maid. I stared at them, breathing hard, my mind racing. I could refuse. I could fight back. I could run. But deep down, I knew I was trapped. I swallowed my pride, and with a deep, shaky breath, I whispered, Hello, Mistress Emily. How may I serve you today? Emily beamed. Sophie clapped her hands. Good girl. The room spun around me as I realized the truth. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. To be continued,